Hello, this tutorial will introduce the RMarkdown and how can we utilize RMarkdown in RStudio for our further usage. So let's briefly introduce RMarkdown. RMarkdown is an authoring format that enables easy creation of dynamic documents, presentation, and reports from R. And we're going to introduce some basic features we're going to further use. First one is RMarkdown create an easy to write plain text format. It is the core syntax of the Markdown. And if you want to include the R commands inside RMarkdown, you can create the R code chunks and then copy the codes between the chunks. And the output generated from the R commands can also be included in the final documents. And the final document can be in different formats. For example, it can be HTML, PDF, and Microsoft Word. And finally, RMarkdown is reproducible. For example, if you have any changes in your R code or data, you can just automatically regenerate the output file again. Well, next is a brief comparison between RMarkdown and RScript. We used RScript last week, so we can see here the comments are included after the hash key, so R will not recognize this comment. While here in the RMarkdown, we will use plain text for the comment. And for the R codes, well, we include R codes between two lines of comment, but here we will need to introduce and include insert a R code chunk, and then use the chunk to add the R codes. Well, one important difference between Markdown and script is RMarkdown can generate output document. And the document can be in different formats, for example, PDF, HTML, and Microsoft Word. Well, here is an example of me using the PDF format. So here, you can see that I can include the title and the comment and the code, our command codes, and the output together in the same document. Next, we will demonstrate how can we create a new RMarkdown file in RStudio. Before start RMarkdown file, there are two things we need to download. The first one is a package. We need to download the RMarkdown package and load this package in our RStudio. So firstly, I will use install.packages function and include the RMarkdown package name to install and load this package. So it may take a second to install in your R. And next, we will use library to load this package to our RStudio. So remember to put a double quotation outside this package name and inside the parentheses. And also library and the name of the package will load this package to your RStudio. The next thing we want you to install in your local machine is called tag. Tag is used to convert the output file into a PDF format output file. So if you want to output the PDF format output document, you need to download this tag application in your local machine. Well, if you have a Mac machine, you can go to tag.org to download this application. Or if you have a Windows machine, you can go to maketag.org to download this application. So this application will take up to 5 GB of your hard drive space. So after you downloading this package, the package and this application, we can start to create a new RMarkdown file. You can go directly to File, New File, RMarkdown, or here is a new tab. You click RMarkdown. So it will pop up a window asking you the type of the output document. So we want it to be a document, and the title for this document, we want to be R Markdown test. And there are some option formats you can choose from. The first one is HTML, PDF, and then Word. We want to be PDF, and we click OK. So it will give us a default R Markdown file with all this contents. Well, to create your own R Markdown file, let's just keep the title and outputs and delete the rest of the contents. So remember last week we had R script of data structure. Well, I will copy the command and code from the structure to the R command and let you see the differences. So let's go ahead. So here, remember we first create 3 vectors of 3 medical patients information, and I want to copy this command first to this R Markdown file. Well, in R Markdown file, you no longer need the hash key to keep those comments to be ignored by R. You can use the plain text. Well, if you want to create a new paragraph, for example, I want to start a new line starting from this crate. Well, I will use double space to separate 2 different lines. Well, it doesn't work if you only type enter. So that doesn't work. You have to type double space. Well, these are the comments that we had in this R Markdown file. Well, next we want to copy those vector R commands inside this R Markdown file. Well, the first thing we need to do is to go to the chunks and to insert chunk. So now we have a green area start with 3 apostrophe and a brace and a R inside this brace, and this area ends with 3 apostrophe. So between these 2 lines of apostrophe, we will paste our R code inside this chunk. So now R only run the codes inside the chunk, so they will ignore the part outside our code chunks. So next, let's do another example. So extract the number of members in the temperature vector. And then I will double space and insert another chunk. Inside this chunk, let's output the length of the temperature. So similar to R script, you can run this R command line by line by clicking run. Or you can run this chunk by chunk. For example, you have your cursor in this first chunk. You can go to chunks and run current chunk. So it will run this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of R commands and output you with the type of temperature and class of subject name. Well, you can also run the next chunk. For example, my cursor is still inside this chunk and I want to run the length function. So I go to run next chunk. It will output me with the length of the temperature. Well, next we will introduce you how to create a table inside this R Markdown file. So I already created one here. Let me just copy it. So I just demonstrate you the format and output. So you paste this table outside the code chunk, but the R Markdown will still output it as a table. So you will use the bars as a separator for different columns, and you can also use this hyphen. This hyphen, also known as the minus signs, to separate different rows. So this is basically 2 by 2 table, and we include an actual column name and actual row name. Well, after creating this table, let's save this RMarkdown file by click Save. And it will save on my desktop. I will name it as RMarkdown text1 and click Save. So it will automatically give the extension .rmd to this file. And well, next we will see the output file generated by this markdown file. So let's go ahead, click this Need PDF. So it will need the current document into a PDF. So let's see, it should be created on my desktop. Let's look at this PDF file. The title RMarkdown test is the title you gave at the first step. See here, let's zoom in a little bit. So we have both the comment and then the codes and the R code, the output generated from this R commands, and then so on and so forth. Well, in the end is the table you created in the R Markdown file. So it will show up like this. And you could choose the output document format. For example, here we choose it to be PDF. You can also use Word or HTML. So basically, this is all we have for this tutorial. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening. Bye.